sleeping with the enemy. What does that mean? What does it entail? What does it truly, actually say to a person like myself? What are you? What can we learn from it? See, we've been told our whole lives that we should do as we please, what makes us happy, what tenders to our desires. At 27 years old, 4 months into 27, 27 some change years into life, I can say that is the most erroneous load of hot excrement I have ever had a person try to serve to me on a plate and pass it off as stroganoff. Um, what I'm going to say is this. If you flag this channel down, I'll just create another, and another, and another, and another. Because this doesn't impede with anything that I normally would talk about. I normally would never even speak on relationships. I'm not in a relationship, so it's not my ground. But being a man who's been in relationships, who speaks to women all the time, and I could be with any one of the said so-called enemy type women, and even the enemy amongst my people are easy to be with. I'd rather not. You see, when you read a book, you read it to gain understanding, sometimes to be entertained, but normally to gain understanding. Um, when you watch a program, you normally watch the program, once again, to be entertained now, but there is normally understanding gained through watching the program for entertainment purposes and sakes. Now, there are programs that are catered to just learning, but we are speaking on the mode and the idea in which a person uses it, and hence the word program. When a person listens to music, they seek to assuage whatever feelings they may have, but ultimately they take from the music and they learn things from it. What I'm saying is that you have to realize the position that you are in before you get there. So that way, whatever it is that you are seeking to gain from the situation can be foreseeably gained. One who listens to music but does not listen to the lyrics, or is not present of the content of the lyrics because they only listen for the sound of the beat, will totally miss the entire message, and maybe not realize that their subconscious is still being compounded with a systemic programming of sorts. So when I come at this, it is not to knock off the pedestal of anyone that has told you to do as you please. I have no need to use any other tools other than the sense of rhetoric and what they call layman knowledge. Layman's in this term, for me, will just be the scientific references to the terms of the relationships, how it pertains to when people are speaking to one another, or how they treat one another through their physical actions, and what these things sometimes mean. And then we'll speak on the cultures, when cultures attempt to bridge gaps. And we won't get too far into certain numbers, but we will look into the most basic skewed numbers as to, the longevity of relationships of specific races of interracial couples, if they have said such information. And we will really break down the entirety of why you are sleeping with your enemy. Um, I want this to get out there. So please, this I would like for you to share, because unless you know the person that you're laying right next to is of similar genetic constitution, more than likely you're laying down with an enemy. And the term enemy is just a person who is adversarial to what you're doing. I don't mean that they're trying to kill you, but they do in ways contradict the very mission that you're on. So, unless you're with the person who is supportive of you, because we're living in a time where if a man can accept the arrangements of said circumstances, he can thrive. But if a man won't accept these arrangements of said circumstances, then he will not thrive. And he will continue to be on the outside looking in. You do not chase your prey. You wait for your prey to get tired. Do you understand? And they will tire out naturally. This is why certain animals follow herds of animals, because they know that eventually throughout the day, we're going to be able to get to them when they're resting at night. And then this is when doing what we try to do is going to be easy. And I compare the analogy of hunting an animal to being with someone of likeness or getting what you want, because you may chase after the gazelle, but maybe this is a fierce gazelle who fights a little bit and doesn't kill you, but it injures you before you actually subdue it. There's no need for that. This is why the smarter, longer lived of the predatorial animals have distinct ways of doing things. And they seek not to be injured or hurt at all, because they understand that an injury means death a lot in the wild. And with that said, the circle of life or the cycle of life will continue with or without you, with or without me. This is why I speak these words, because I would hope that it gets and it falls on ears that are seeking to learn. Sleeping with the enemy is a dangerous thing, because while they say they love you and they do things that may seem to be in your favor, ultimately, if pushed, this person will act against you for their better favor. And it's not because they want to, it's because they have to. And this is something that you should accept, or you should be willing to accept, knowing that you're going into a situation with that much hostility. I speak these words as a man who is not only seeking to find a brighter day somewhere else, but a man who does understand the finer, more intricate levels of human interaction. I will not delve off into many of these things, because this is simply the touching of many different facets. This I will not leave alone. Rest assured, sleeping with the enemy is a concept that I can easily speak on. The research is easily, readily available. I do seek your audience. I do seek your ear, your time. They won't be very long videos. They will be about specific relationships with specific people. I will speak on specific things within the relationship. I will speak on how these people will believe that they can make said relationship work. I will speak on the things that will go against the continuity of that lasting forever, and the fabric of that, and why there are so many distractions that make these sleeping with the enemies relationships, situations, even tangible. With that said, I don't want to give too much and too little of time to where it will not stick. My friends. And then on the other side, my enemy, my adversary. Please listen. Because whether you align yourself with being for or being against, you must realize that I have only said this so that way your mind is not confused about what it is that you are doing. You had better wake up, because you cannot mock genetics. Genetics do not lie, and you will not mock them. So, with that said, my friends, I will be at you later, and I will have pieces for you. Wonderful pieces that don't take too much time, but they take time, and then so I can focus building this channel up a little bit, and then work on some of these other things that I would like to do. However, I appreciate your time. You guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.